I honestly do owe the Olympic gold medal in Tokyo down to being able to knit and crochet. Like, I feel really lucky to have found a second passion in life. I mean, I still get scared when I go up there onto the Thames.
Do you?
I mean, it's really not like human to stand up there and like throw yourself off a board and be like inches away from a platform.
Hello, Tom. Great
Hello.
to have you here. Now, Olympic diver Tom Daley's debut knitting and crochet book, Made with Love, Get Hooked, is out on tomorrow, 27th of October. It's got 30 knitting and crochet patterns in it. It's a wonderful tome. It's a wonderful tome.
You.
What made you want to write it?
Oh my gosh, for so many reasons, honestly. I started knitting back in March 2020.
Of course.
I fell in love with it, and I just love knitting. I just can't get enough of it.
Because we saw you doing it, like when you were waiting to do your dive at the Olympics in Tokyo. That's right, it wasn't Tokyo, wasn't it?
It was in Tokyo.
What's he doing?
I know, and it's the funny thing was, before I went to the Olympics, I had a meeting with my management team, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would just love to. My dream afterwards, don't think about podcasts and thinking about what TV shows. And I was just like, you know what? I just want to be a knitwear designer, sit on a beach with Margarita. That's my dream.
Oh, I love the idea of knitwear designed via a Margarita on a beach.
Exactly. And then after the Olympics, after people saw me knitting, they were like, you know what? There might be something in this. So I started Made with Love. And then I started initially selling kits on buytomdaily.com, which is like the yarn, the needles, and the patterns to make it.
Oh, so it's all there.
So it's all there. You just arrive and you can make yourself a jumper or a scarf or something right there and then. And then the idea of the book came about, and I just thought, being able to give people just the patterns as well. And then in a week or so, there's going to be some kits coming too.
Wow, that's brilliant. It's so exciting, it's so holistic.
Yeah.
And I think in lots of ways as well, what people love about it is it seemed to be like a mindfulness exercise you were doing as much as just creating something.
The mindfulness thing was the main reason for me doing it. My coach, Jane, before I started, was like, you need to find something where you can sit still and rest and recover, because you're always on the go, you're always doing something.
Of course.
So then,
we all are, aren't we, these days? Social media, everything's so busy.
We just don't take time to just slow down and relax. So for me, I'm not someone who can just sit in front of a TV and do nothing. And so then my husband, being a filmmaker, said that lots of people on sets knit squares. And I was like, okay, I can give that a go. Why not? So taught myself to knit via YouTube. And each project that I made, I tried to learn a new skill, a new stitch or whatever, and then before I knew it, I then learnt to crochet and then learnt to design, and here we are.
Gosh, and here we are, the birth of a whole new fashion range. Tom, by the way, great piece of jewellery on.
Oh, thank you. It's a bit of
that necklace.
Bit of a front.
You can see this on social media afterwards. Yeah, it's great. It looks like the diamond from Titanic.
That's exactly what my husband said to me this morning.
Did you dive down to the bottom of the ocean to get it for us?
No, he just woke up and he was like, it's been 84 years. And I was like, oh God.
It's very cool though. It's very cool.
Genuinely, the book's gorgeous.
Oh,
it really is. And there are some designs in here that you would pay a fortune for in the shop. And if I could knit that myself, I'd feel so much more accomplishment, and you'd keep it forever because you'd be so proud, right?
Yeah. There's nothing better than finishing something that you've made yourself and just putting it on for the first time and be like, wow, I made this.
Yeah.
And then it feels even better if you were making it for someone else, to give it to someone and they know how much time and effort went into it. It's like,
it's made with love.
It's always made with love.
There's love in every stitch. Is
love
that right?
in every stitch.
I'm delighted that this cardigan I want to knit is in the easy level, but I do want to ask, how easy is easy? If someone has never picked up a pair of knitting needles before, what would you say?
So there are also some beginner projects as well, which are like stripping it way back. But there's if you have never picked up knitting needles or a crochet hook in your life, you will be able to do some of these projects in this book. And also, if you're a proficient knitter, there are projects in there for you as well. So there's also all the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way, and everything is, whenever it gets to a slightly tricky bit in a pattern and it might be a bit confusing, I also then put the page numbers of where you have to go to find out how to actually complete that step.
It's so well thought through. I'm just currently just looking at this dog hat.
Yes. There's stuff for pets in there. Like, honestly, it's one of those things that if you know someone that knits or crochets, I'm telling you, it's a good Christmas gift.
Yes.
It's a good Christmas gift.
Oh, yeah,
it's
lovely.
And it's also like, one of the things that my husband said to me, he was like, you know what? This book is basically like, if you gave this to a grandma that knits, the grandkids would actually wear the clothes that they make.
Because we live in an age now when people are a lot more mindful of not having everything thrown away.
Yeah.
And the idea of having something quality as well.
It's very sustainable in that way.
Very sustainable.
It was a really fun process to be able to get down to the nitty gritty.
Yes, lovely.
With some of the designs and the process of that as well.
I mean, Tom, you've been very busy, as well as winning all those gold medals.
Yes.
And you're 28.
I am.
So it's no age really. Really? 4 Olympic gold medals. And also, you made your documentary earlier this year.
I did.
Illegal to Be Me, which is on BBC One in August. A very profound, very important look at LGBTQIA+ rights around the world. How was that making that?
It was a really eye-opening experience, because initially we took the angle of what it's like to be an LGBT sports person, and then what it was like to be an LGBT sports person with the Commonwealth Games being in England and in Birmingham. We wanted to then explore that within the Commonwealth, and knowing that around 2/3 of the Commonwealth countries it's still illegal to be homosexual. Therefore, going to visit some of those countries where there's still the death penalty in play. For example, I went to Pakistan, I went to Jamaica, and one of the big things that, after speaking to lots of different athletes around the Commonwealth, was that visibility was the key and the biggest thing for them. Like, we take advantage and take it for granted, really, the pride flag. We see that and we're like, okay, yeah, fine, pride flag, whatever. But in the countries where the existence of that is illegal, seeing that is a sign of hope and safety for lots of people, which is why at the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games, we fought for having 6 advocates from those countries where their existence is illegal to be carrying those flags into the stadium as a sign of, with it being the opening ceremony, there's 1 billion eyes on that around the Commonwealth.
Amazing.
So it's hopefully sends a message to the rest of the Commonwealth that there is a space for you here on this planet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible that you've used your platform to tackle that issue, and I think it's extremely positive. In the same way that knitting and crocheting, of course, has been something about mindfulness. It's actually been about calming people down and about sort of talking about mental health and talking about what is a good way to spend our time, I suppose. Yeah,
it's like, for me, knitting and crochet is a way of being able to zone everything else out. Like, I honestly do owe the Olympic gold medal in Tokyo down to that, to being able to knit and crochet, because during COVID, there was so much, like, when we were there, we weren't allowed out of the village, we weren't allowed out of our rooms, we weren't allowed to socialise, so there's so much time to overthink and worry about the competition. So I just remember spending all of my time knitting, so it just took me completely out of my head, and I'm forever thankful for being able to take it up, honestly. Everyone has their thing that they like to do, whether it is knitting and crochet, whether it's something completely different. There's something, everyone can find their little secret superpower, if you like.
That time during the pandemic when we had time to explore what we might do if we had the time was actually one of the few positives from that time was that we sort of had a moment to kind of think about what we wanted to do. For me, I took up Olympic diving.
Oh, there you go. I thought I saw you in Tokyo.
Yeah, I was there. I'm just building up to it, though. Okay. I can't get on the big diving board, though. I can't. I have to still jump, so I can't dive.
Well, we'll
actually, have you got any tips for people who are a bit scared of diving?
Diving like head first.
Yeah, I get a bit scared of diving head first.
The thing is, lots of people, when they grab their hands as if they're doing a swimming dive, where they put one hand on top of the other. And
like
do
in a synchronized swimming.
Yeah, but that causes you all world of pain when it comes to hitting your head on the water.
Ooh.
So what you want to actually do is grab your hands like this.
Like so one over the other.
Over the other, and interlock your thumb. And grab onto your bottom hand.
Okay.
Because that creates a hole into the water, and then you flick your wrist when you hit the water.
Oh, wow.
Creates a vacuum, and then it sucks you and the water underneath with it.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know about that.
That's how people go in with no splash.
So that, wow, I want to be able to do that. So you're basically like digging a hole in the water before you stick your head in it.
And like when you go off of 10 metres, you hit the water at 35 miles an hour, so you have to really do it quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like me on the motorway.
Yeah, exactly.
As fast as that.
Yeah.
Tom, this is great news. Okay, maybe next time I go swimming, if it's deep enough, I'll give diving a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
The last time I went onto one of those high diving boards, though, I had to come back down.
Oh, I think that must happen a lot, mustn't it?
I was so scared.
It does. It does happen a lot. I mean, I still get scared when I go up there onto the 10 metre.
Yeah. Do you?
I mean, it's really not like human to stand up there and like throw yourself off a board and be like inches away from a platform. It's not.
I suppose every instinct is telling this is a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we forget that, don't we? We forget actually it's quite a terrifying concept.
It's terrifying, yeah. And also I'm always scared that they're going to
hit the head. I've done it twice.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did it really hurt?
Well, I was young, and it was actually a swimming lesson, which is silly because at the end I was playing around and doing like dives on the edge because I just
free swim.
Yeah, free swim.
Free swim. Get the floats out.
Just like it looked like there was a shark attack in the pool, honestly. But I've done all.
Are you going to go back to another Olympics, or are you done now? You've got enough gold.
Well, actually, for me, I've not been back on a diving board actually since Tokyo.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going to go back and give it a go for a little period of time and see if I want to go back to it. But like, I haven't really made any decisions yet. Like, I feel really lucky to have found a second passion in life with knitting and crochet and designing knitwear, and I really kind of want to see where that goes as well.
Do you remember when, like, back in the day, they had like knitted swimwear?
Yes.
Yeah, like, have you thought about bringing that back?
See, the interesting thing about wool is that when it gets wet, it's one of the only one of few properties that actually keeps its heat values when it's wet as when it's dry.
Oh, well, I wear a suit a lot of the time. I'm not wearing one today, but I wear suits, and even in hot weather, people are like, aren't you warm? And I'm like, no, wool is actually very breathable. Like, you never see a hot sheep, do you?
No.
But do sheep sweat?
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know.
They like dogs. They let their air out through the mouth.
Oh, Sinead, we haven't got time for another phone in. Tom Daley, thank you so much for coming in. Made with Love. Get hooked with 30 knitting and crochet patterns. Tom Daley, your book is out tomorrow, the 27th. Lovely to see you as always.